My family and I, originally from Las Vegas, finally decided to move from where we were to Texas. We started researching churches around our house and really didn't know what we were looking for. We were literally in a parking lot at a church, my wife and I and the kids, waiting for the next service to start. Something on me said, hey, let's go over to Trietsch. And she looked at her phone and her watch and she said, they start in like 10 minutes. And I'm like, we can make it. And we flew. When you walk into some place and somebody starts speaking to you about the Lord and it hits you in the heart right away and it feels like they're talking to you like you were meant to be there that day, that's what happened to us. And from that point on, we couldn't get enough of it, you know? And it felt like just attending a place on Sunday wasn't enough for us. When Chris asked me to be a part of the mission trip, to me that said, I need your help with something, and we're gonna need you to use some of your leadership qualities, which I just joined this church, not just, but fairly new, and I felt, wow, this is more important than anything that I've ever done. And I knew that I was gonna go with a group of kids that I was going to connect with, hopefully, and I had no idea what I was doing, And then I realized that we're going there to help people in need build stuff in their house, and I'm like, good Lord, my wife yells at me for not, cleaning the toilet properly, and now you want me to build something. So, but I also had a new connection with my son. When we'd have service every night, and Chris would sing, and we would talk about our experiences and where we saw God that day. I heard people say things about my son that really touched my heart. And he was more hesitant to go on this trip than I was. And as much as I thought I was going to need to hold his hand, he turned into a man on that trip. And then he stood up one day and said, where he saw God, and that was the first time I've ever heard those words out of his mouth. Through the church and through missions and how they constantly give, their trips to Mozambique. I've heard about all these things, only imagined myself going and being a part of it. And then when they took us to Tennessee and the Appalachians, and we saw how some people live in our own backyards, they're so very needy and have so little. There's so much more we can do right here and right now, and I don't think people realize, and I think now that that's a priority on our thoughts and our hearts, that if we're not helping people, then we're not doing our job, and we need to be thinking that way more. You have to think about the person that Jesus Christ was, sick, dirty, prostitute, elderly, doesn't matter. He was there to reach his hand out and touch these people and help them.